we are jumping right into one of the absolute masterpieces of the Victorian era today. I'm talking about Alfred Lord Tennyson's iconic poem, The Lady of Shalott. In this explainer, we're going to take a stanza-by-stanza walk through the entire piece. We'll be looking closely at its vivid imagery, that famous hypnotic rhythm, and of course, the unforgettable story of a woman bound by a completely mysterious curse.
Here is our game plan. We're going to follow Tennyson's exact structure. We'll start with a quick look at the poet himself, and then we'll move through the 4 distinct parts of the narrative. We're taking the journey from her quiet isolation, right through the explosive disruption of her cursed life, all the way to her tragic end.
So, Section 1, Context and the Creator. Before we unravel the poem itself, we really need to understand the brilliant mind behind it and figure out where this piece fits into his career. Now, this timeline is super helpful for seeing Tennyson's evolution into the definitive Victorian poet. You see, he didn't just write The Lady of Shalott once and call it a day. He actually published the first draft in 1832, but then he heavily revised it. By 1842, he had shortened it to 19 stanzas and tweaked a ton of little details, which really just proves how much these specific words mattered to him. This 1842 version, that's the standard text we still study today. And his mastery absolutely paid off, because just 8 years later, in 1850, he was officially appointed Poet Laureate of the United Kingdom, a job he ended up holding for over 40 years. As we dive into the specific lines today, I want you to really pay attention to the structure. The poem is a ballad with this incredibly unique rhyme scheme, A-A-A-B-C-C-B. Plus, there is this inescapable refrain of the words Camelot or Shalott just ringing out at the end of the stanzas. It gives the whole poem this hypnotic, almost claustrophobic rhythm. It literally feels like an incantation, which is just absolutely perfect for a story about enchantment, isolation, and inescapable fate. All right, let's get into the text with Section 2, Part 1, The Unseen Lady. This is where Tennyson sets the scene and establishes the central mystery of our story. Tennyson opens up with this panoramic stanza-by-stanza contrast. On one side, we have many-towered Camelot. It's bustling. There's a public road, and he uses all these active verbs to describe ordinary people traveling up and down through wide, open fields of barley and rye. It's a colorful, social, totally normal world. But then, right in the middle of the river flowing down to Camelot, we have the island of Shalott. Notice how he keeps repeating the word gray here. It's a silent island, enclosed by 4 gray walls and 4 gray towers. It is utterly and completely isolated from all that vibrant human traffic passing by just outside.
As all these boats and barges skim down the river, totally ignoring the island, Tennyson does something really cool. He actively interrogates us, the reader. Notice the rapid-fire, rhythmic questioning in these lines. Wave her hand, seen her stand, known in all the land. He's establishing that, yes, she's physically there, she has a name and a location, but she is completely unseen by the wider world. Has anyone actually laid eyes on this woman? Well, to the outside world, no. She isn't really a physical person at all. The only hint that she even exists inside that tower is auditory. Farm workers, the reapers out harvesting the barley, they hear this cheerful song drifting over the river early in the morning or late by moonlight. To them, she's simply the fairy lady of Shalott. She's just a rural myth, you know, a legend whispered by tired workers, not a real, tangible human being. Let's step inside those 4 gray walls now with Section 3, Part 2, The Mirror's Curse. It's time to figure out exactly why she's hiding.
The crucial point hits us right at the start of Part 2. Why is she locked away? Well, she heard a mysterious whisper warning her that a curse will fall upon her if she ever looks directly out her window down to Camelot. But here's the fascinating part. She has absolutely no idea what the curse actually is. She just knows she has to avoid it. So, to pass the time, she weaves this brightly colored magic web day and night. And to see what she's weaving, she relies entirely on a clear mirror hanging in front of her. It reflects what she explicitly calls shadows of the world. She is experiencing reality entirely secondhand.
It gets pretty heartbreaking as we read through stanzas 6 and 7. We see all these reflections passing through her mirror. She sees village churls, market girls, an abbot, a shepherd lad. But significantly, she sometimes sees pairs of knights riding by. Tennyson writes, "She hath no loyal knight and true." That specific phrasing highlights exactly what she's missing out on: devotion, companionship, love. As she weaves all these images, the profound loneliness of her isolated existence really sinks in. She is just watching life happen to everyone else, strictly through a piece of glass.
Then, after watching a nighttime funeral procession pass by, followed by a newlywed couple walking in the moonlight, the lady finally speaks her first and only direct words in the poem so far. I am half sick of shadows.
With that one single line, everything changes. She is finally exhausted by living this muted, indirect life. She's tired of just weaving the reflections of other people's joys and sorrows. She longs for direct reality. This quiet, deeply human complaint is the emotional hinge of the whole explainer. It perfectly primes us for the explosive disruption that's about to hit in Part 3.
Moving into Section 4, Part 3, enter Sir Lancelot, the catalyst. So, what brilliantly disrupts her gray, shadowy world? Suddenly, in stanza 9, Tennyson just completely overwhelms our senses with aggressive, blazing color. Enter Sir Lancelot. He is loud, he is bright, and he is absolutely impossible to ignore. The sun comes dazzling through the leaves, flaming upon his brazen leg armor. He's carrying this sparkling Red Cross shield, showing a knight eternally kneeling to a lady. I mean, this is the absolute pinnacle of chivalric romance, just bursting into her colorless reality.
And the descriptive language just keeps building. His jeweled bridle glitters free, and Tennyson literally compares it to a galaxy of stars. And listen to the auditory blast here. Bridal bells ringing merrily, and a mighty silver bugle. The alliteration and those bright vowel sounds completely shatter the quiet of Shalott. You can feel the incredible kinetic energy of his arrival, and it contrasts wildly with the lady's silent, completely gray tower.
Tennyson even elevates Lancelot to almost supernatural heights. His helmet and feather burn like one burning flame. He's compared to a bearded meteor, a cosmic, unstoppable force of nature trailing light across the blue sky. And as he rides by, glowing in the sunlight with coal-black curls, he sings a cheerful tira-lira. At that exact moment, his brilliant image flashes into her crystal mirror.
It is just too much. Overwhelmed by this dazzling sight and sound, she finally snaps. Stanza 13 delivers the climax, and notice the urgent, repetitive structure of these lines. She left the web, she left the loom, she made 3 paces through the room. That repetitive rhythm totally mimics her sudden, frantic pacing before she breaks the one rule of her entire existence, just to look directly at this magnificent reality. She looked down to Camelot.
And that triggers an immediate, devastating domino effect. The instant she looks at Camelot, the curse violently takes hold. First, the magical tapestry she spent her whole life weaving just unravels and floats wide. Next, the crystal mirror violently cracks from side to side, literally destroying her old way of seeing the world. And finally, she accepts her doom, crying out, "The curse has come upon me."
Which brings us to Section 5, Part 4, The Final Voyage. We are now entering the solemn, mournful conclusion of our walkthrough as the consequences of the curse take hold.
Notice how the visual palette shifts entirely back to gloom here, perfectly mirroring the narrative. The bright, unclouded blue weather of Lancelot's arrival instantly turns bleak. We've got stormy east winds and pale, complaining streams. She comes down from the tower, finds a boat left afloat beneath the willow tree, and methodically prepares for her end by writing her own name, the Lady of Shalott, around the prow. She looks toward Camelot not with joy, but with the glassy, entranced stare of a prophet seeing their own unavoidable mischance.
Dressed in snowy white, which evokes both a bridal gown and a burial shroud, she unties the boat at the closing of the day and floats out into the night. As the river bears her away, the people on the banks hear a mournful, holy carol. Just as the text says, they heard her singing her last song. It's a literal death song, as she floats toward the world she was forbidden to join.
And this brilliantly illustrates the utter tragedy of her fate. She doesn't even make it. Her blood freezes, her eyes darken, and she dies singing before the boat even reaches the first house by the waterside. Her silent, lifeless body drifts right into the heart of Camelot. That vibrant, loud, celebratory world of the knights in the palace, it completely stops. They come out to the wharves, confused, crossing themselves in terrified silence at the sight of her gleaming dead pale form.
And then, Sir Lancelot, the cosmic disruption, the very reason she triggered the curse and died, pushes through the crowd. But he has absolutely no idea who she is. He knows nothing of the curse or her sacrifice. He simply pauses, muses for a moment, and says, "She has a lovely face." It is such an emotionally distant compliment from the man who unknowingly destroyed her. And it leaves us with this final thought. Since she gave her life just for a fleeting glimpse of a world and a man that never even knew she existed, what is the true price of stepping out of the shadows? Is a brief, fatal moment of real living truly worth the ultimate sacrifice?